Welcome back, everybody. We are on part two, and we are also joined now by Mr. Payton. What's up, Mike?
What's shaking everybody?
Everybody. We're on part two, and that means the hot tags of the week are what we're going to be breaking down here. We have a couple different things to talk about. One of them, god damn it, TNA has moved to Wednesday nights, and they're re-signing a deal, and they're going to be sticking around until fucking 2015. This is episode 85 all over again. And it's not a matter of like, well, we didn't give him enough credit or whatever. This is just fucking lingering on. It's limping when you know that you're gonna die, kind of a thing. Just die already. Just do it. God
It's like
damn
a
it.
it's like a bad dairy fart. It just lingers really bad. It just lingers like more than normal.
That's a good way to put it. Just get it over with. Just get the fart out. Just whatever.
If TNA was a horse, it'd be shot already.
Oh, it definitely would have been. That's the equivalent of a horse with screwed up legs that you have to shoot.
Well, considering the next big bit of news that we might be talking about, I don't know where else they could go. I mean, they pretty much lost a big facet of their biggest storyline. So it's almost like 2001 era WCW where they really just had no direction and there was just nothing going on. So they were just kind of meandering with half their roster.
I don't even know if they're that level.
I don't know. If you watch any of those nitros from early 2001, they're pretty pathetic.
At the end of the day, Dixie Carter must give a good head.
Well, one person that she must not be giving it to is Bully Ray because he has decided that he's not going to be sticking around with TNA. So there goes that whole Team 3D Hall of Fame thing, right?
They've already done them.
They did?
Yep.
No, they were doing it.
It's already recorded.
You know what?
in
At this
Japan.
point, I wouldn't be shocked if it was already recorded, but I mean, they're still going to have to present the footage at Bound for Glory, and I don't know. It's kind of going to be like, well, why are they inducting them? He's not in there anymore. Honestly, though, I don't know what to say about Bully Ray. I mean, I could say there's a chance he could go to WWE, but I don't think WWE would be interested in him anymore. They were for a little while, but I think that might have cooled down. Honestly, at this point, if he just decided to retire, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's been doing this since like the mid '90s.
What do you think about this stuff, Peyton?
I really just wish they would go away. I mean, all the people with any kind of foresight have either abandoned it a long time ago or in the process of doing it. As far as the Bully Ray thing, that's really unfortunate for them because I know they're doing a lot down there with him on top of things with this New York shows. They really were centered a lot around him, and to lose him going forward is going to be a big loss to them. I do not see a bright future for TNA, and of course that's an easy prediction. And it seems like we were a little hasty with our eulogy of them, which is fine. It just gives us another excuse to spend a show making fun of them sometime in the future, whenever they actually do die, or when we decide to pronounce them dead again. What we had 2 times now? It was episode 85 and episode 141, whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, and the more I'm reading, by the way, it isn't so much that he's leaving TNA, it's just that his contract is going to be expiring in a couple weeks and he's not going to re-sign.
That's the same basic thing.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, I think he might just be going home to write out the rest of his contract.
So he hit it and quit it.
Pretty much. I mean, he's done everything in that company. He got the big reunion matches with him and the Hardys, in the Manhattan Center. He's going in the Hall of Fame. He was the champ. Like, I know he's important to the company, but what else does he, as a wrestler, what else can he do at this point? That's why I'm okay with him leaving, because there's not much he can do left in that company. He's done
Miguel,
everything.
You're forgetting the most important thing. He also conquered Velvet Sky.
And to go off your point, Miguel, that's their fault for not making other big stars. A thing that WWE was accused of and very guilty of for a number of years. Now TNA is at that point where they've made nobody in the last, 5, 6 years?
And that's kind of counterintuitive, because I remember early on they had a bunch of guys coming up that they never did anything with. Like, I still to this day don't understand why a guy like Monty Brown was passed up in TNA. I mean, he was on fire in those early years. I went back and watched a couple of them. Like, he was huge. He was a big star, and they squandered him. I remember when Joe was starting to be built up, and they just dick teased the fans for so long that, I mean, the guy's still popular, but he's nowhere near as hot as he was late '07, early '08. You know, when he basically shot off on Scott Hall and he won the belt at Lockdown.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's never been bigger.
I see what you did there.
And they dropped the ball with poor old Norv, freedom. Rest in peace.
Well, another person that has clearly wants to fucking leave TNA is Kurt Angle. But the story going around here from Mr. Mark Madden is that Kurt Angle called up.
Get Miguel to tell us this.
Sure, go for it, Miguel.
I haven't read the article though, so I don't know exactly what he said.
Well, apparently Kurt Angle called up the offices, talked to Triple H, who wasn't exactly 100% enthusiastic with bringing Kurt Angle on board, and then Angle decided to call up Vince and thought that maybe he'd be able to go over Triple H's head, and Vince McMahon said Triple H is the one who calls the shots now. Which there's actually two stories to that. One is Kurt Angle... Actually, no, there's three stories. Kurt Angle legitimately wanting to go to WWE. Number two, Triple H not being interested. And number three, Vince McMahon admitting that Triple H is the guy now. Interesting setup there. What do you think about this, Sean?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Wago just posted something on his Facebook, which made me laugh.
God damn it, Wago.
Even when you're not on this show, you're still trolling us.
I for one want to see Kurt Angle back in WWE just for like one match and just to get a DVD, because that TNA special that they did for Kurt Angle was subpar. Well, we'll put it that way. It was shit.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't even know that they did it.
Yeah, they did a DVD. It was awful. It was shit.
TNA does DVDs?
Yeah, they can afford that?
DVD. Yeah.
I think it was called Kurt Angle Champion. It was basically like pictures of his WWE run, and like they talked about his Olympic career, and then they had like a few photos from his WWE run because that's all they could afford to get, and then they talked about his TNA run.
Like, they've got like a dude who went to Staples and bought some DVD-Rs to burn the DVDs. That's how they're doing this. He's got a magic marker, and he just writes on it like Kurt Angle DVD and shit.
No, dude, you gotta. They're doing it old school. It's 2 tape decks.
Oh man.
And to be honest, I thought Triple H was running WWE way back when he first like appeared. He was running WWE.
Yeah, I figured that was all obvious by now. That's Triple H's show.
Yeah, but it's a different thing to have Vince
or at the
McMahon
least
say
that
it.
Triple H is in charge of talent relations.
Yeah. But it's different, you know, if like if Vince were to still be saying, yeah, you could just come talk to me and fuck Triple H. But if he goes to bat of like, nope, gotta talk to the boss. That's a lot more than a symbolic change, you know what I mean?
And that pretty much, to me, symbolizes a death knell for Kurt Angle's chances in WWE, because it's one thing to constantly, you know, pester the guy in charge, but when you go over his head, you better make sure that you're going to get, you know, what you want, because now you've just angered the guy who is in charge. And I don't know, given Triple H's spotty run with Kurt Angle, I don't know if he would even, you know, play the whole, like, you know, best for business angle. He would just be like, screw this guy. And honestly, why would he bring on Kurt Angle? I mean, Kurt Angle hasn't been in the company in years. He trashed the company through most of his run in TNA. He can't wrestle anymore. You know, at least in the regard that there's no way the doctors, in my opinion, are going to give him the okay at this point. I mean, he's so banged up. TNA doctors might, but I doubt WWE's would. In terms of him working with the Performance Center, they've already got enough guys as is there. I don't know. I don't see a need or necessity for WWE to bring in Kurt Angle. Now, as a fan, would I like to see Kurt Angle? Yeah, of course. I'd love to see him do a one-shot in WWE, but I don't know. I think the cards are stacked against him in a bad way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Pretty much all those points.
Yeah. He's one of my favorites from the past. The only thing that might be kind of funny to see if he came back was to recreate the love triangle with him, Triple H, and Stephanie. I mean, I'm assuming that's the trouble between him and Kurt that you're referring to correctly.
No, I was thinking more along the fact that Triple H just never liked Kurt Angle. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
But I mean, if Chris Jericho and Stephanie could still hate each other after all these years, I'm sure Kurt Angle could still have a crush on her. It could work.
Yeah, why not?
I'd
Kurt
rather
Angle
see
could
that
just
than
get drunk, go on Twitter, and be like, Stephanie, I love you.
I'd rather see that than him stalking Charmel. That was all kinds of creepy.
Didn't see it.
Or him with, what was the name of her? Raka Khan.
Ugh.
That's such a great way of describing her. It's not, it's
yeah. For those of you who need a reference, do any of you remember Midnight from WCW? Just think of that.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, don't Google it. Trust me. It's like if you thought Raka Khan was ugly in a mannish sort of way, trust me. Midnight was Booker T's answer to China, and yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
what a racist name, Midnight. Oh, God. Triple H and Vince McMahon, another story that's going on with the two of them back and forth and who's in charge. Supposedly, they are arguing about the main event of WrestleMania 31. Vince McMahon wants Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. Triple H wants Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And this is something we mentioned the other day. I believe it was on the Raw Post Show. It might have been Smack Talk. I think Triple H is doing a hell of a job. And I think Triple H has a lot of good ideas. And Vince McMahon is stuck in the past a little bit too much. Vince is going to want to do this Rock and Brock thing. I don't fucking want to see that. If Triple H wants to do Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, then you know what? Then you make Roman Reigns a fucking star by doing that. What do you gain out of Rock and Brock? One pay-per-view buy rate? It's WrestleMania. Yeah. People are going to buy it anyway. You don't need to use that to boost up, like, Over the Limit or something. It's WrestleMania. Everybody is going to buy it, whether or not you've got The Rock on the card at all, or if The Rock was facing anybody, or if Brock Lesnar was going to face anybody. So why not do somebody like Roman Reigns, have him win the Royal Rumble, have him beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, if you're going to keep the title around him, and make this guy your new fucking guy, because Lord knows they need more of these guys. They can't survive just on John Cena. And they can't survive on people like The Rock that come back every once in a while, because you can't keep those guys going for all those years. So if they're arguing about that backstage, then Triple H has my vote. What do you guys think about this?
I'd honestly be in favor of either match. I think for WrestleMania, you should do the Roman Reigns thing because WrestleMania is the best place to have that new journey feeling. But I think there is a lot of money in a Rock-Brock match, and I think it's something you should definitely do. And I think you should try to do that during this title reign. I would put that match at at the Royal Rumble. I mean, why not? Those are two guys you don't need in the Royal Rumble match, of course, and then you don't have to take a guy out of the Royal Rumble match that might have more of an investment of having him in there. They usually put some kind of subpar match at the Royal Rumble as the title match. This certainly wouldn't be a subpar match. It'd be two big stars. It would attract a lot of buys. And you get your limited appearance out of The Rock, you get your limited appearance out of Brock, but you're still getting a big, huge money match out of that. And then have Roman Reigns win that title later, or excuse me, not the title, but the Royal Rumble, and have that match set up for WrestleMania.
Why not Survivor Series when that needs to get a little bit of a bump?
Because they don't care about Survivor Series anymore.
Yeah, but why not try to just do that to make up for it?
Because they don't care.
Yeah, They're looking to make money in the short term. That's why Vince wants the Rock-Brock matchup, because that is a money matchup. It's The Rock is their big ace in the hole in terms of getting a mainstream appeal. That's why they break him out whenever they can. My biggest problem is, where do you go from there? I mean, let's say the match does happen. It's Rock versus Brock. Rock wins the title. Where do you go from there? Because he's just going to drop it to somebody else.
Well, another idea I postulated when I was talking with Tony about this the other night, let's say that Rock wins that title at the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. Rock Roman Reigns. I think that could be a
At
huge marquee
WrestleMania?
match as well. Either at WrestleMania or say you do the Brock versus Roman Reigns thing at WrestleMania, you could do Rock Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, because I'm getting the feeling they're going to try to make SummerSlam a really big thing again next year.
Honestly, if you're gonna go for if you're going for like a mainstream star appeal and gonna put a guy against Brock Lesnar, I wouldn't do The Rock. I'd go Batista, especially given how big he's gotten with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I'm more receptive towards that, a Batista Brock Lesnar matchup than I am Rock versus Brock. I mean,
Yes, Batista's gained a lot more public appeal with Guardians of the Galaxy. He still ain't no Rock. The Rock is the biggest action star around right now.
true. I could see both angles though. I could see Vince wanting that big short-term pop for WrestleMania, and I could see Triple H wanting to go more traditional and using the WrestleMania main event to build up a new star. It's two different mindsets. One's more a sports entertainment mainstream mindset, and one is old-fashioned, wrestling basics kind of angle. And both work. My thing is, like I said, if you do Brock versus Rock at WrestleMania, from a storyline perspective, there's not much else you can go that's fulfilling. Like, who are you going to put against The Rock after that will really get people's eyes? Like, honestly, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, to me, while a big matchup, I don't know. It doesn't do much for me. Then again, we don't know what type of shape Roman Reigns is going to be in by then. I mean, it's hard to say. I could see it from both angles, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, see, you're missing the point, Miguel. If it does be Rock versus Brock and Rock wins at WrestleMania, then The Rock is going to hold the title until SummerSlam, and then we're going to have John Cena versus The Rock 3 at
Thrice in a
SummerSlam.
lifetime?
Well, they should just do that at WrestleMania if they're going to do that. Jeez.
Wait, I thought it was a... Wait, what? Is the main event supposed to be at the... I thought it was supposed to be at WrestleMania.
No,
It's supposed to be Royal Rumble.
Rock and Cena always face each other at WrestleMania. That's why I was saying.
Yeah,
that at WrestleMania.
change it up, like, innit? SummerSlam.
At this point, though, I think SummerSlam's the only pay-per-view where that would actually sell. I don't think Rock versus Cena 3 would make as much as people would think.
No, it wouldn't. Why not do this? Why not do a combination? We're talking about Batista. We're talking about Lesnar or whatever. Do Brock Lesnar in the main event if they want to keep the title on him against Roman Reigns, Royal Rumble winner. And as a co-main event, Batista versus The Rock. The two mainstream Hollywood guys against each other.
Honestly, if I had a choice to book a main event for WrestleMania, depending on how strong they keep booking this guy, I want to see Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, face versus face.
I don't
It
know.
depends on how they built those guys up over the past few years. Going off that proposed match from you, Tony, Batista versus The Rock, no interest whatsoever. I don't want to see that match. What they could do if they wanted to go off of a storyline like that, though, I could see them doing like maybe Batista versus The Miz. Have The Miz claiming he's this big Hollywood star, and have Batista coming in, who actually is a Hollywood star, but Batista's gonna Miz is gonna step on his toes and offend him through all that.
All right, we'll do a battle royal. You know how they did the gimmick battle royal before?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be everybody who stars in movies. So it'll be The Miz, Batista, The Rock. We'll bring
Hulk
back Ted
Hogan.
DiBiase. We'll bring Kennedy, John Cena, Hulk Hogan,
David Otunga,
Roddy
I think he was
Piper.
in the call.
John Morrison.
John Morrison. Yeah.
David
Summer
Arquette.
Rae.
As a matter of fact, David
wins.
Arquette has to win it.
yeah.
Summer
Well,
Rae.
of course he wins it. I mean, who else is gonna win it, right?
Yeah. Hornswoggle.
We'll throw
Macho
Mr.
Man.
We'll throw Mr. T in there because why not? You know, throw in his mama because got to do that.
All right, now this has just gotten silly.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry.
What was the hot tag
sorry,
again?
Sorry.
The Rock versus Brock proposed matchup by Vince and Triple H.
I wouldn't be surprised if neither of these matches end up being the main event of WrestleMania by the time it comes around.
Well, if they screw things up too badly, they're gonna have change it post Elimination Chamber like they did this year.
Can I just say,
man.
and this is probably a theme we're going to talk about as we go through our SummerSlam review, I'm seeing a lot of people's opinions shift from Roman Reigns to Dean Ambrose. Just saying.
Who are these people? Are they just the internet marks who are never happy, or is it just general?
No, this is like everybody. Like,
Well, that brings us on to another hot tag. Dean Ambrose is going to be starring in a new WWE film, so he's going to be involved in that battle royal. Lockdown is what it's called. He's going to be. I forget if they said he's going to be actually one of these guys that's a protagonist or the villain, but a bunch of cops get attacked in like the police precinct or something. Typical WWE film.
I think he has to be the villain.
Yeah, I can't imagine him being like a good cop.
It's like when they did the 12 round sequel and they put Randy Orton as the hero. Like, I'm still waiting for my WWE film where Randy Orton plays like a sociopathic serial killer. Like, I feel that that's the perfect role for him in a movie.
see, I don't know. I think I could see Dean Ambrose as a cop, but he'd have to be like one of those really crazy loose cannon cops. You know,
He'd
like
have to be
he
Riggs.
couldn't be like he wouldn't be like a Matlock cop.
No,
He'd
he'd be like one
be
of those.
like a Walker Texas Ranger cop.
I see him more as like one of those burned out, like chain smoking cops. Like, he's been on the force too long. He's seen some messed up stuff, and he's just like he's got a drinking habit.
He's Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That kind of a thing.
That way,
Not
then we
Lethal
can call it
Weapon 4,
Lethal
though.
Lockdown.
Yeah, not Lethal Weapon 4 though. That movie was terrible.
What about Lethal Weapon 5?
Lethal Weapon 5 is fantastic.
I guess you guys that Always Sunny reference will be lost on you if you don't watch it.
I've only ever seen one episode of It's Always Sunny. It was the Nightman episode.
Oh, that's a
Good
good
episode.
episode. But the Lethal Weapon 5.
Oh, you have to at least watch the wrestling episode. It has Roddy Piper in it.
Yeah.
You know what? I dug the Nightman episode, so I might have to go back and watch the rest of the series. I might just though start when Danny DeVito got on, because I know there's a few seasons.
Yeah,
where he
no,
wasn't
season
on.
1's pretty good, but maybe start with season 2 and then go back and watch season 1 after you watch some other stuff.
Yeah, because if you don't like season 1, it's okay.
Mhm.
Ah!
See,
Yeah, Danny
I
DeVito really
didn't
took
get
it to
the
the next
reference. I didn't get the reference. I thought you were talking about porn again.
Yo, wait, we should be talking about Dean Ambrose, 'cause this is pretty awesome. I probably won't see it because I generally don't like these generic WWE film movies, but I'm glad that they're giving him an eye. And once again, this just gives more credence to what I'm saying. A lot more eyes are starting to go towards Dean Ambrose. Anybody?
Could disagree.
I mean, it can't be worse for his career. I think the only guy that's ever gone worse from being in a WWE films was Kennedy, I believe. No, DiBiase.
Wade Barrett.
David Otunga got like a whole lot of nothing, even though he was in the most successful WWE films movie of all time.
Oh, two other people that need to be in this Battle Royal are Kane and Wade Barrett.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Dead Man Down.
Dead
and,
Man Down.
Oh, and Triple H and Big Show.
Oh,
See no evil.
Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay too. Shit. Oh, man, there's a lot of people in this Battle Royal. We're gonna do the 30-man Battle Royal again. Holy shit. Somebody
I
needs
wouldn't
to
mind
cast,
seeing
like,
that.
Yoshi Tatsu or something.
I love the gimmick battle royal from WrestleMania 17. If you repeat that at a WrestleMania, I'll watch that.
We have one other hot tag, and this is something we mentioned a little bit on the Raw post show about, and that's WWE has officially transitioned into the new logo, and they have their new championship belt, and something that I didn't notice at all until they posted it on WWE.com. It actually does say World Heavyweight Championship on it, or World Heavyweight Champion. Very small at the bottom of it. There's some lettering that kind of goes in like a V shape.
It's like that. It's on the decorative rim under the actual title, the actual symbol.
Let me take a look at this here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so-
look at that.
Yeah, it's so subtle it looks almost invisible.
Well, now all the haters can shut up. It's a fucking nice title. Like it already.
Mm-hmm. So that does do an upgrade in my mind for the criticism that I had the other day about it. I still think the other one looked a little bit better with the bigger champion that was listed there, but outside of that, I think this is a great championship, and it's a hell of a lot better than the fucking spinner belt, and it's a hell of a lot better than that big gold belt, because I never liked that, and it's a lot
Undisputed title?
better. Yeah, I never liked the Undisputed either. And you know what, for the record, I didn't really like the one that they used in the Attitude Era. That big circle.
Too circle-ish.
Yeah, it was not like horrible or anything like that, but going from the wing title to that, step down.
I don't know. I like a little bit more creativity with the title designs. Just having the logo of the company on there, just it comes off as a bit bland. I actually like the little championship thing that they had on the the post spinner pre this belt style. I kind of like that. If they'd have put that with the new logo, I'd have been perfectly fine. I'd have thought it was a good looking belt, but there's too much empty space on it. It just kind of throws me off.
I don't think I would. I mean, you look at a lot of other belts. There's a lot of empty space. It's just some kind of solid color. I think it's cool that this does something different by having this actual exposed leather on it. I think it makes a really cool looking contrast when you have the diamonds, the metal, and the leather showing like that. I think it's a really nice looking belt. It's very sleek and it's very representative of the generation we're in. I'm glad that they decided to bring it back to one belt because I love this new belt when they unveiled it with The Rock. But when they started having the two of them together, being around that ugly giant gold thing from frickin' like 30 years ago was just so hideous. It was bringing it down. So thank goodness they brought it back to this. And how weird is it that our new belts were debuted by the part-timers, The Rock and Brock?
The only real stars at this point.
The Rock and Brock connection.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Triple threat. Throw in the sock too. Sean, what do you think about the new logo and everything officially being we're done with the Attitude Era logo?
It's gonna take some getting used to. I don't like it on the microphones. I don't know why they changed the shape of the microphones. My God, when they were talking on those microphones,
they're like weird, like
they were so weird.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, instead of three-sided, they got like those extra 3 corners to it. That's really neat. I like creative flags.
And I like the red on the belt.
You mean the faceplate?
That's it. The red stripe.
The stripes. Yeah.
Swoosh.
The swoosh. That's the only thing I like about that belt. I saw a Photoshop of it the other day with like a golden globe behind the W, like just a net type thing. It looks really good.
I've seen that. Yeah, that would be cool if they had like a design behind all that black
behind the
space.
W. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
It's too much black for me.
Yeah. And in terms of the logo, I've been waiting for this for years because in my mind, ever since they announced that they weren't no longer World Wrestling Entertainment, that they were just WWE, I've always been like, you know what? Just change the logo. You're not the old company you used to be. Finally, they finally come full circle. It's the end of an era. I mean, they are now the media conglomerate that they've been pushing themselves as for the past few years now, and their new logo represents that. It's a very business friendly logo. It doesn't have that grungy look that kind of is reminiscent of those years that, from a business perspective, I'm sure they like money wise but reputation wise they'd like to just get past.
No other thoughts, anybody?
Nah, it's cool. Fucking people should quit bitching. When it comes to the end of the day, it's just sitting in the corner. It's not what you're actually watching, so freaking get over it.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, if they ever get a copyright claim, they'll just end up blurring it out anyway, like they did for everything else, during the Attitude Era. Those awful blur blobs and those old archived footages.
I do think it's a little weird how it debuted, how they used it for the network, and then like they're just like, oh, we have a new logo coming soon. Oh, it's this. Oh, okay.
Especially weird considering the first time we saw it was like 2 years before the network started, when they announced they were just going to think about doing the network. So, I don't know.
I wonder if they just actually originally made it for the network and they just kind of liked it, and it's like, well, why don't we just bring it over to the company?
I got a feeling that they made it knowing that they were going to change it in the future. And they figured if they were going to start doing it with the network, like, we might as well just start doing it in all that stuff instead of having to go back and redo old things with the old logo and the new one and everything. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, that's why they just, when they made NXT, just make it the new logo, because we're not going to make a second version of everything here if we're going to change this in a few months,
Well, I figured they did that because NXT was a WWE Network exclusive.
Possibly could be that too. Who knows? But
speaking of belt changes, can I interrupt?
Yep, go for it.
Speaking of belt changes, they need to change the IC belt, the Divas belt, the tag belts.
I like all of those belts. I don't know what you're
talking about.
Keep
the US belt. Just
the US belt is the ugliest one. As a matter of fact, it's the most unnecessary too.
It's the most unnecessary, but it's the best looking out of the ones I just named.
IC belt is the fucking nicest belt they have. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, they just need to change the color of the strap.
I like that it's white.
I'll admit, I think the American flag pattern on the U.S. belt's a bit gaudy, but I mean, in terms of what we've gone through with the U.S. title, it's certainly better than Cena's U.S. belt.
Well, yeah, that's one of the fucking ugliest belts they've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, it was a really ugly belt. The ECW championship, not the silver one, because that one actually was kind of cool.
The one they first had, right? The more circular one.
The original one.
Yeah,
that was hideous.
The one that Chavo had.
Ooh, Chavo.
I didn't like that at all.
I actually like that silver belt. They need to bring. We need more silver belts.
I've been saying for the longest time, I think that we need the world title to be gold, the intercontinental title to be silver, and the tag titles to stay that bronze color, but just not look like pennies.
Well, too bad. The world title's black, the Divas title's pink, and the intercontinental title's white. Deal with it.
It's still time.
Hashtag deal with it.
Alrighty, guys, that does us in for the hot tags this week. We're going to take a little bit of a break and do the rest hold, and then we will be back with SummerSlam reviews. Stay tuned.